Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Mr. Yakub. Good evening. Uh, Good evening, Samson. Good evening, Oji. Hmm. This class was
Good
supposed
evening,
to
sir.
start
Good evening.
6:30. I couldn't join on time because I was on the data science class, which we are addressing then, and which is something I'm going to do here. But joining now, I was told that it, your instructor was the only one on the call for more than 20 to 25 minutes. He has been here since 6:30, before 6:30, before the class starts, before the class was supposed to start. Because now, even now, the class is yet to start. I am not sure you people. You only this class was supposed to start 6:30, and it was communicated to you people since last week that your class will be every Thursday 6:30. I am not sure we have any excuse for not joining on time. This is disheartening. It was a goal site. It was the only one on call for over 25 minutes. Someone that was willing to help. He volunteered. He has a full-time job. He volunteered to help you people to get into tech to teach you people. It was the only one on call for over 25 minutes. Then you wants to help free of charge. You were joining 30 minutes later. Please, you people should make it make sense. Because this it does not make sense to me. It does not make absolutely sense to me. I can't even wrap my head around it. I don't understand. Hey, it is the other tracks they were not this low. Although I have only I don't know. I sincerely don't know what to say. I sincerely don't know what to say to you. I don't even know what to say. It doesn't make any sense. Any sense. Out of 85 people, only only three people is in the class, and even those three people they join 30 minutes later. It's just like saying God is saying, "Hey, come and take this food, come and eat." You say you are telling God not to eat. You say you are not eating, no, you are not interested in His food. That's for you. You are making us regret that we are trying to help people to get into it. You are making us regret. I'm getting already. Even your class rep is not here. So let's just discuss before we even move on. What is wrong? What happened? Let's start from there. What happened? What is wrong? Let's start from there. What is wrong? What happened? Anyone, please. This is an interactive session before we start. What is wrong? What happened? When you go solar, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
I'll
evening.
first of all apologize for coming late. Personally, last week Thursday, I was not in class. Uh, I got the message really late because I got the message around probably 8 o'clock, only for me to find out that the message that we would be having class that same Thursday, and the message was communicated around probably few minutes to 11 or thereabout in the morning. So I got the message late when I got back from work. Today, I just saw the notification, like it just popped up, like we are in class. I didn't know that there was actually class today. Serious, from my own end here, and I apologize. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So your own now, you don't know there was class today. So I'm going forward. Your class is every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. and it's a recurring link. It's the same link that you used to join this class. It is still the same link you used to join all the other classes till you graduate from this program. This is the same link today, yesterday, and for um that's how it's going to be for the next 6 weeks. So no problem. Uh Mr. Alushola, let's hear it.
Okay, good evening, sir. We are so sorry for coming late too. I was here last week, though that last week that I came around, I didn't even know it clashed with one. I was having a program, so it clashed, so I had to leave the class at a point around 7:30 or so. So that was the reason why I didn't get the full information about us having the class though. So I didn't know that our class is always Thursday. I'm very sorry for that. And then I think I complained to the class rep that, okay, why can't we just, I think people are not getting more information on the Slack channel. Why can't we just move the whole class to WhatsApp for easy communication and then easy notification? Because sometimes some people don't even get the notification from Slack when information is passed across. So that's another issue thereof. So I think that's where the mix up is coming from, sir.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Okay, so you two is none of that your class is every Thursday, right?
Yes, because I didn't finish up with them on last week Thursday. I had to leave the class before they
No,
finish.
you didn't have to finish with them on because this we started this doing I posted it on your Slack channel myself and I posted it on the WhatsApp channel myself. So you not finishing with them last week. I'm not sure that excuse hold water. It does not hold any ground. Because I posted it and I said it's a recurring link every Thursday. Every Thursday. Your class is every Thursday. So okay, you are now knowing now your class is every it comes up every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. That's that. And for the WhatsApp group that you're asking for, it's a no-no. There's nothing like WhatsApp group because when you finish with that because when you graduate, whatever whichever company that you are going to, well, they're also going to use Slack channel as the official communication channel. So WhatsApp is not official, and WhatsApp has to do with people's number and all that. So to not to all of the privacy stuff and all that, we're not using any. So Slack is Slack. Slack is easy to use than you people think, than you guys think. It's just that you guys don't want to learn. And so you say this because it's because you guys are not paying for this. That is why you think um you can you should pander to your excuse, you should pander to your suggestion. Maybe you should create a WhatsApp group, we should move to WhatsApp group. There's nothing like that. We will not. WhatsApp is not official. We are using Slack as the official communication channel, and we wish like we want it to remain like that. That is why we created a WhatsApp channel so that you guys can see. We post so I posted the link, the meeting link on the WhatsApp channel so that everyone can see that this is it. So all this we don't want people to start spamming people, scamming people, sending nonsense message because of course our reach, our reach won't be able to manage if you guys go on to create a WhatsApp channel, won't be able to manage it. And why some people can use that opportunity to start scamming people, spamming them, asking them. So to avoid all those nonsense, so let's just stick with our WhatsApp channel or with our Slack channel. And Slack is very, very easy to use. Very, very easy to use. Once you wake up in the morning, after praying to God, carry your phone, log in on Slack channel. You are only going to see three channels there: the announcement, the general, and your third channel, which is product design. If I show you my own Slack channel, you will pity me. I have so many WhatsApp channel. Last quote is there. Even this quote is, and I'm on all the tracks or on the track channel. But I'm not complaining. But it is not now people that have only three, three, three channel that are now complaining that you don't know how to use Slack. What's there that you don't have to use? No be English they write for there. They write Spanish. DM channel is already there. But I think it's because you guys are not paying, so you feel of course I no lose. If I didn't go to class, if they evict me, I no lose. But your time is going, and we are wasting our own time. We are wasting your own time. We are wasting my time, which is bad. Class of over 80 people, only 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 three people are in class. Yo. Ah, this is it's disheartening. It's disheartening. And if this keeps happening, then I think there's no point. There's no point. I'm going to remove every if this thing happen again next week, I'm going to evict everybody except those that will join next week. I'm going to evict everybody from that Slack channel. Everybody. Or I'm going to leave only people that attend next week class. I'm going to evict everybody from that Slack channel. There's no point. I can't. We can't be accommodated. Of course, we know we had issues last week, and of course, I know we had issues, but everything has been solved. You can't complain that you didn't receive an invite to the LMS platform. You can't tell me your courses are not your videos are not playing. You can't. Everything has been resolved. So what's wrong? Why not in class? Problem. Let's just observe. Starting from next week, I'm going everybody. If you not join that next week class, I'm going to evict. No excuse. I will evict you. So we should just so let's down next week we will know people. Okay, we know okay if we have two people on ground, then let's go with the two people. We know that two people they are the serious people. During the last quarter, we have over 2,000 students. Only the less than 250 people graduated from the program. Yes, we are happy. We're happy that less than 300 graduated. Yes, we are happy. Out of 200, that's like 10%. This quotes will not be different. I will evict even before the I will just start removing them from the Slack channel. All the same. Mr. Onyekonsola, let's hear.
Yes, I also noticed that the class rep himself does not know the day of the week that the class would actually be holding, because someone on the Slack channel actually asked that what day, and it was like it to be communicated.
It will be communicated.
Yes, yes, I guess that is actually misleading, because I saw that message yesterday. While you were talking, I remember that the class rep said it to be communicated.
Okay, now that you guys know, I think you can just pass the information across. I'm not sure even that your class. I'm not sure it's active. I think it's taking this thing for granted. But all the same, um, no problem. So you can help disseminate the information from next week. If they are not in the class, they will be evicted. No excuse. No excuse whatsoever. So thank you so much. Hope we don't have issues with the LMS. Hope the videos are playing. I know. Hope there are no issues.
Yes, I tried it from my end. There are actually no issues from my own hand. The videos are
Oh,
playing. It's just that it is not it's not, I should not say notifying me that I've completed this particular video. I've completed this particular video. It's just like it's just there.
which
Like
video?
I've not gone through the video before now. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Anyhow, so thank you for tonight, and please help pass on the information to your colleagues. So I think we'll see next week. Mr. Yakub. Mr. Yakub.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Please, you have the floor now, sir. Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Do confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, all right, thank you. And I trust your week has been great and productive so far. And you are taking most of your the videos on the LMS. And please, I want to confirm if anyone has watched the week 2 videos. Please just put it in the chat box. So if you've completed your videos on the LMS for week 2. All right, only Samson Olushola has watched it and yet to complete it. Okay, Oji Perpetua have completed. Okay, that's good. Okay, who else? Who else? So we have two people that have at least. Oyinkansola, how about you? Okay, okay. All right. So let me quickly just do a summary of the week two class. And so for the lesson one, we talked about user research basics, and we looked at what is user research. User research, you know, user research is the process of understanding users' behavior, needs, motivations, and challenges through observation, interviews, and analysis. So basically, it's all about putting the user at the center of a design decision. Do you understand? So user research is just the process of understanding your users, understanding their behaviors, understanding their needs, their motivations and challenges. Because you are designing for the users, so you need to, as a pro designer, it's a must you understand them. You understand? And why does user research matters? It's because it matters because it prevents designing based on assumptions. So you don't need to design on assumptions. You need to design based on the data gotten from the users. You understand? So that is why user research is very key to what? To a good product, because you need to understand what to design. You understand? So, like I do say that a good product, a pro design is about 80% of research and 20% of design. So, because you need to understand clearly what the problem is and what the problem statement is and the goal of the product you want to design. You understand? That is why user research is very what is very important as what as a product designer. So it helps identify real problems, not the imagined ones. So it saves times and money by reducing wasted effort. Imagine that with you do not do research for a particular solution you are designing, and you just decide to just go and design one or two things, and you launch the product. And when the product gets to the market, you realize that there are a lot of what drop off and the likes. So it's just a wasted effort, resources, and time. You understand? That is why user research is very what is very key. So we looked at the types of user research again. We look at the types of research. We say we have the qualitative research and the quantitative research. The qualitative research answers the why and how. You understand? This has to do with the interviews, observation, field studies, usability testing, and maybe diary studies. You understand? Interviews has to do with the one-on-one conversation to understand user goals and frustrations. You understand? And the observation is watching users in real context. And usability testing is all about asking users to complete a task with a prototype or the APK of an app while observing what their difficulties, their struggles with the applications. You understand? Why the quantitative has to do with the what and how many. It has to do with the numbers. You understand? Because it's a quantifiable. So this includes the surveys, the analytics, the A/B testing. You understand? The surveys is whereby you put a structured questionnaires to reach a larger group. So oftentimes we do put out a survey first in order to streamline those who interview. You understand? So you have the analytics whereby you have data from websites, how many people drop off at checkout, that is after launch or something like that. And we have the A/B testing, whereby you have to compare two versions or two variations of design. Is this okay? Is this which one the user prefer the most? You understand? So for the qualitative research, the strength is deep insights into motivations and their feelings. Do you understand? Why the strength of quantitative research is numbers and trends. So it's a scalable thing, something. It's a scalable research. Do you understand? Please, are we together? Okay, all right, thank you. So we looked at creating user personas too. And a user persona is a fictional character that represents a type of user based on a real user research. You understand? It's a fictional character that represents a type of user based on the data you've gotten, based on the real user research you've conducted. You understand? Either via qualitative and quantitative. You understand? So it helps you as a designer to keep the user in mind throughout your design process, because like I said earlier, that you're designing for the user. So it helps you to put and keep the user in mind throughout your design process. You understand? A user persona is generally based on the user research. Basically, it's not something you just imagine or you form. It's based on the user research and incorporate the needs, the goals, and observed behavior patterns of your target um, audience. And don't forget, it's a fictional character, but at the same time, it is based on what? On your real user research. You understand? Of your what? Of your real user. So user persona matters in product design because it keeps design team focused on real people, not imagined users or abstract users. It keeps uh you focus on what? On real people, because you've put out a survey to real people, and you've conducted a interview to real people, and you've gotten your what? Your data. You understand? So you are dealing with real people here, not an abstract users. You understand? So again, user persona builds empathy for users, goals and frustrations. You understand? And also it helps guide decisions, whereby you are facing a question: would these particular features actually help this user persona? In user persona, we give it a name. Okay, let's say the name is um let's say the name is Perpetual. Will these features actually help Perpetual, your what? Your target or the target user? You understand? So it basically helps you to keep your user in mind throughout your what? Throughout the user throughout the design process, so to speak. So the component, what entails? What does the user persona entails? What does the user persona entails?
The name, possibly the colors, and then the colors some of the users like, and then some of their own habits and how frequent certain activities they do.
Okay, thank you so much. So that I love that. So basically, the user persona entails the name. So the user persona entails the name. It entails the photo. So the name and the photo shouldn't be a real name of the real user you've interviewed, or the real name of the data you've collected. It should be a fictional name and image or photo. You understand? But the data should be realistic. You understand? It should be a realistic, fictional but realistic. You need to take note of that. It should be fictional, but what? But realistic. So it also entails the demographics, that is the age, the occupation, and the location. Do you understand? Also, it entails the goals, that is what they want to achieve. Do you understand? Using your what? Your solution, using your product. It also entails the frustrations, that is their pain points. And lastly, it entails their behavior. Either maybe probably they are tech savvy or not. You understand? So you have to understand all these things. So understanding the needs of your user is vital to developing a successful product. Let me take that again. Understanding the needs of your user is very key towards to developing a successful product, because the product is for them, it's not for you as a product designer, it's for the users. So you need to understand them. Empathizing with them, understanding your user is very key to developing a successful product, because a well-detailed personals will enable you to efficiently identify and communicate user needs. A well-defined personals will enable you to efficiently identify and communicate user needs, either to the team members or to whoever is on the team. You understand? So user persona will also help you to describe the individuals who use your what product. So if I see a user persona, if someone should present a user persona to me today now, I will be able to understand the real users, those that want to use the product specifically. You understand? And that is very essential to your overall value proposition. You understand? So that's that on the user personnel. And we move on to the I hope you all got my explanation on the user research, just a summary on the user research, the types of user research, and the user personnel. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay. Let me quickly have your question now.
Yeah, my question is, you know, in generally product development, we know that the product manager is going to product manager is going to possibly make their own research, do their own user research and all. So this is I'm now confused. Can the product designer still use every research done by the product manager, or the product designer has to do their own research separately?
All right. Thank you for that question. That's a lovely question. You see, one thing is this for I said it in the last in the week one, and also the orientation class, that you see, when you are working in a what's it called, in a startup, or as you're starting out, you will do everything. You will most likely do everything. Just as in this class now, you will do everything. It's a must, you do everything now. When you're not starting out as an intern or a junior product designer, you will most likely do everything. You understand? But in a large organization, we do have specified role, whereby we have the UX researcher, whereby they will be the one to do all these deliverables for you, all this user research, and they will give you the deliverables. You understand? In an organization, it might be the product managers that will just give you all this kind of stuff. But most likely you'll be the one to do it. So you don't need to bank on that some people will do it for you. You have to do it. So that is why it is essential that you know it very well. In fact, some people after this boot camp and everything, some people will decide that it's like I'm the kind of person that pay attention to details and I love research, and they will just specify on being a user experience researcher. You understand? So that's I hope we're on the same page.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. So we move on to the lesson two, which we talked about the empathy mapping and user journey. So empathy mapping, this is very key. So what is empathy map? An empathy map is a simple virtual framework that helps you to understand your users better by putting them in your shoes. It helps you on is a visual framework. You understand? It's a visual representation that helps you as a designer understand your users better by putting them in your what? In your shoes. Do you understand? So it's just as you thinking, you putting your users in your own shoe. That is, the empathy, the visual representation or the framework. It captures what the users say, think, do, and feel. Understand these four things: what they say, what they think, what they do, and what they feel about your product or about your solution or experience. Do you understand? As a product designer, you are concerned about what your users say, what they think, what they do, and what they feel. And what will help you um have a representation of these four things is your what? Your empathy map. You understand? So it is used to explore the attitude and behavior of traditionally is used to explore the attitude and behavior of a single user. But however, it is also possible to create um, empathy maps for multiple individuals or a group of users. So the thing you need to do now, the thing you need to understand is that you need to look out for what? For patterns across the multiple users and create your empathy map based on that. You know, we have a single empathy map which is based on a conversation or a data of what? A single user. Why the group user a group multiple empathy map is useful to summarize themes and patterns that you've seen or you've observed across various users. Do you understand? So once you get the themes and patterns from different or multiple users, you now create what? Your own empathy maps. You understand? So also we look at, like I said, that we have the four key things: what they say, what they think, what they do, what they feel. So I call it the four core sections of an empathy mapping, or a four core sections of an empathy map. What they say, that is what the user explicitly expresses during during interviews or during or in your surveys that you've put out to them. Do you understand? What they say, what they think is about what the user is thinking, but may not say it out loud. And when we say that what the user do, what they do is about what they observe. This the user observable actions or behavior. Do you understand? What they do while they are using your app, or what they are using your solution, and what they feel, the emotions, that you observe. You understand? Throughout the process where they are where they are interacting with your solution or your product. So the four core sections, that what they say, what they think, what they do, and what they feel. You understand? So let me ask, why does empathy map matter? Let me ask anyone, why does it matter? Anyone?
Um, to me, sir, it makes you understand the pain points of the users, and from there you'll be able to provide solutions that actually solves their pain points. To design a solution that actually solve their pain points.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam Solution. Okay, Oyinkansola said to enhance users understanding. All right, that's fine. I love that. So let me just quickly mention one or two. So Empathy map help designer, you as a designer, move beyond assumption. It helps you move beyond what? Move beyond assumption. So, and it helps you base your design decision on human truth, not that you are assuming or something like that. You know what they feel actually, you know what they are saying actually, you know what how they think actually, and you know what they do actually, not an assumed or imagined ones. So it helps you move as a designer to move beyond um assumption, and helps you what? To put your design decision, to sharpen your design decision on what? Human truth. Also, it helps review emotional triggers and barriers to user satisfactions. You understand? Because you know how they feel, you know how they do, you know how they what they see. So it helps you what? Review the emotional triggers. And also it form the foundation for better user journey and what? User personals. It form the foundation for better user journeys and user personals. So before building an empathy map, ensure you have a real user data from interviews, surveys, observation. So before building your what? Before building your empathy mapping. And again, in one thing you need to understand, that you need to avoid guessing. Avoid guessing. Don't do a guesswork, because you will surely pay for it. You will surely pay for it. Avoid what? Guessing. You understand? So let's move to user journey mapping. User journey mapping. User journey mapping. So user journey mapping is it's a map that visualizes the steps a user takes to achieve a goal when using your a product. So see it as a step. Just see it as a step a user takes when using what? When interacting or using your what? Your solution. It's a like a step from the start to finish. Do you understand? So a user journal captures the steps from the start to finish of when a user is what? Using what? Using your solution and your what? And your product. Are we together? All right, thank you. Is it only some solution that is here? Because it's what? Okay, only consular too. Where else? Okay, all right, that's fine. So let's continue. So most user journey mapping, they are usually flow charts or grids showing the user experience from end to end. You know, so user journey helps you to flag pinpoints and churns. You understand? So your team can see where the user experience may be confusing or frustrating for your audience. Then you can now use your user journey map to identify key customer touch points and find opportunities to what? To improve or for optimization. So there are key stages in a user journey. You understand? Number one is what? The awareness. From the awareness, you move to what? To consideration. From consideration, you move to what? Onboarding, to engagement, to retention, and what? Um, from engagement to what? To retention or exit. You understand? So when we're talking about awareness, we are talking about the user realizes that they have a need for your solution, or they have a problem and they need a solution. That is the awareness stage. The consideration stage is a stage whereby the user now what? Researches, or you now kind of check options online or whatever they want to check the option, either through via App Store or Google Play Store. And then now compare, okay, I think this one is okay. Let me go for this. Do you understand? Then you move on to your body stage, whereby the user now go through the processes. Do you understand? From sign ups to be uh, 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 and start to use what your solutions. Then we now move to engagement. Do you understand? Well, this has to do with the user interacting. This captures the steps where the user interacts with what with the product on a regular basis. And lastly, to the retention or the exit stage, whereby the user now either continues to use your product if they find it useful, usable, desirable, valuable. Do you understand? Or they just exit if they find it frustrating. Do you understand? So these are the key stages in user journey mapping. You understand? So why does user journey matters, or why is user journey important? It identifies pinpoints at each stage, at each stage, or at each step of what of the interaction of the user interaction. It reveals the moment, the moment of delight. You understand? It reviews where they are what where they are satisfied, the step or the stage whereby they are satisfied, so that you can improve on it or amplify it. You understand? And it also helps you as a designer to create smoother, more intuitive experience. It helps you as a designer to create more intuitive experience, or more smoother or sweeter experiences for what for your users. So let me ask, how do you create user journey mapping? Can anyone from the class, from the videos, from the video you watched, how do you create user journey mapping? Can you just give me one? Anybody? You may not necessarily follow it step by step. Just mention any. Okay. OG Perpetrator said the awareness stage. Okay. All right. So the first thing you need to do when you want to create a user journey mapping is first you define the goal of the journey. You define the goal of the what user journey. So you start by identifying what scenario or processes you are mapping out. So you ask yourself, what is the user trying to accomplish? What is the product or features involved? What is the desired outcome? Yes, and these are the questions you need to ask. Then you now move to step 2, whereby you identify the user personas. You know, at this stage, you already have your user persona. So you just identify it and everything. Then you move to step 3. You list out the key stages or phases. You break down the journey into phases that reflect the user, to reflect how the user interacts with your product. And that starts with what I mentioned earlier, which Oji Perpetua mentioned one, which is the awareness, the consideration, the body, the engagement, and the retention or the support. Do you understand? So you list the key stages, and you move to step 4, which captures the user actions. The step 4 captures the user actions. So for each stage, note what the user actually do. Note what the user actually do. That is, this include visiting the website. Okay, how do they feel and utilize? Signing up, clicking a particular button, the CTA button, either book now, either pay now, either submit. Do you understand? So just make sure you capture all these phases, break it down. Do you understand? And also, you move on to step 5. The step 5 is about capturing user thoughts and feelings. You capture the user thoughts and feelings. You add what the user is thinking and feeling at every stage of their actions. You understand? Based on their user research and empathy mapping. You understand? Because this will help you to understand their emotions, motivations, and frustrations. You understand? So then you now move on to step 6, which is the identifying touch point. You identify touch points. Touch points are where the user interacts with your product. They are where the user interacts with your product, starting from maybe social media ads, the website, homepage, or the from the what's it called? If it's mobile, from the what's it called? From the splash screen to the welcome page and the likes. You understand? To the email confirmation, customer support chat. So these are the touch points. So each touch point, understand this now. Each touch point is an opportunity to improve or to delight the user experience. Each touch point is an opportunity to improve or delight the user experience. Then you move on to step 7. You now spot pain points and opportunities. Now and in this step or stage, you now analyze the user journey. You analyze the journey to identify where they are struggling or where they are dropping off. So are they confused at the onboarding stage, at the sign up stage? Are they confused? Is there too much frictions in its checkout? If it's a kind of an e-commerce application or website, do they get frustrated waiting for responses? You understand? When they click a submit button or an action button and they are waiting too long. So you need to capture all these things. You need to spot their pain points. You understand? So you mark these pain points and brainstorm solutions, or you design what improvement. So you mark all these pain points and brainstorm on solutions on how to improve them. You understand? Then you move on to what? To step 8. To step 8. The step 8 is visualizing the journey. You now create a virtual chart or a map that shows the stages, the user actions, the thought and feelings, the touch point, the pain points, and the opportunities. This is where you now sketch it out. You understand? You can do it up using pen and paper. You can use a whiteboard. You can even do it digitally. But the good thing is that Figma gives you the leverage. So you can use Figma, use FigJam on Figma also, and you can also use Miro. But the thing is, the reason why Figma is an industry standard too is because it has all these functions. You can do everything on Figma. So you now move on to this step 9, whereby you now share and validate it. You share and validate it. You understand? So this is where you now share and validate. You can share with your team members or your fellow product designers just to look at it and everything. You understand? So basically, in this now listen to this. A journey mapping is a storytelling tool. So it helps you visualize the user's path. You understand? It's a storytelling tool. You understand? As a product designer, you must know how you must have a storytelling skills. I said it in the orientation class, or was it in the week 1, that as a product designer, you must you must sharpen your storytelling skill. You understand? Because that is how you keep your user focused or your audience focused, and you engage them better. You understand? So it's based on empathy and research and not assumptions. So the goal is to identify fictions and opportunities. You understand? So at the end, you update your map regularly as your product evolves. So we move on to understanding pinpoint, understanding pinpoint, understanding pinpoint, understanding pinpoint. So basically, pinpoint, I said it while I was explaining Mr. Johnny, that you have to highlight pinpoints, spot pinpoints. So what are pinpoints? Pinpoints are specific problems or frustrations user faces when interacting with your product or trying to achieve their goals. Okay, let's say that I have a need that I'm looking for a budgeting app. So that's my problem. I'm looking for a budgeting app, and I got to see a kind of a budgeting website or applications. So while using the app, I encountered some problems or frustrations. So those are pain points. As a product designer, you must know how to what capture pain points. You understand? And we have types of pain points. Can anyone tell me the types of pain points we have? Can anyone tell me the type of pain points we have? Anyone? Anyone? Or you've not watched it to that stage?
I haven't watched my own to that part. So
Okay. Any other person? Okay, let's move on there. Let's move on there. So we have types of pain points. We have the functional pain points, we have the emotional pain points, we have the usability pain points, and we have the trust pain points. When we are talking about functional pain points, we are talking about uh when we are talking about the functionality of the product or the solution, whereby your product doesn't work as expected. It's a pain point. The emotional pain point is the experiences your product causes. Maybe it causes stress or confusion. Do you understand? For the functional pain points, whereby you are clicking a kind of a major a major you are clicking on a button, a CTA button, submit, and is not responding, is a functional what pain point. Why emotional pain point is too many pop-ups distracting the user from achieving their goals. Too many ads, too many everything. So it's draining, it's becoming a pain point to the user. So it's emotional. The usability pain point is the process where probably the process is too complex or unclear. The process is too complex or unclear. We call it the what? The usability what? Pain point. Also, we have the what? The trust pain point. For the usability pain point, probably they are finding it hard to see the CTA button after typing everything, and probably they want to use the save button, and they now start looking for it. It's what? It's usability pain point. The trust pain point is the user feels unsafe or uncertain about your product. There are some product that whereby you have to they are acting too much permission, and you are not starting to that. Why are they acting this? Why are they acting that? Is We call it the trust what? The trust pain point. We call the trust what? The trust pain point. And lastly, how to identify pain points. You conduct user interviews and usability testing. You observe where user drop off or struggle in analytics. You read support tickets or user feedbacks or reviews. And lastly, you use empathy and journey mapping together to visualize where pain occurs. Do you understand? So, in conclusion, empathy mapping helps you to see users as humans, not just data points. Journey mapping, journey maps reviews the user experience over time, while pain point shows where to focus your design improvement. And together, they create a powerful foundation for user-centered design. When you join the empathy mapping, journey mapping, and you understand pinpoints, this forms a powerful foundation for user-centered design. Are we together? All right. So the lesson three has to do with the laws. We look at the laws of UX, the accessibility, the basics of accessibility, and consistency and hierarchy. Consistency and what? And hierarchy. So when we are talking about the laws of UX, that is UX, user experience laws, we are talking about the laws that are that are psychological. We are talking about the psychological principles that explain how users interact with your solutions, with your interfaces, with your digital solutions. Do you understand? So understanding these laws, it helps you as a designer to make experiences more natural and predictable. Do you understand? It guides you to what? To build a usable and useful experiences, a delightful experiences. So we have a lot of UX laws, but I think we'll be going through let's go through some of them. Number one is what? The X law. The X law states that the time it takes for a person to make a decision increases with the number of choices presented to them. So in design, we are saying that you have to keep choices simple and clear, because when you provide too many options for your users, it overwhelms them, and you are giving them a lot of time uh to make a choice, and the longer it takes for them to reach their goal while they are using their product, while they are using your product, the more there will be a drop off on your solutions, and that will not be your joy as a product designer. You understand? So let's look at Fitts law. Fitts law states that the time to reach a target depends on the size and distance of what? Of that target. That is, you make important buttons large enough, easy to reach, especially when you are designing for mobile. Do you understand? Whereby someone comes to your website or your application and your mobile application, and the major CTA button is very far. Do you understand? It takes them time to reach the major button, that is the CTA button. So Fitz law say that the time to reach a target depends on the size and distance of that target. So you make the button visible, large enough, and easy to see, easy to reach. Do you understand? So let's go to Gestalt principle. So Gestalt principle states that user naturally group similar um, elements elements together. Do you understand? He said users naturally group similar elements and perceive them as a part of a whole. That is, in design, as a pro designer, you have to use alignment, proximity, and similarity to organize your what? Your layout. So users can instantly recognize relationship. Do you understand? Whereby you have two things that are similar, you have to put them together. You have to by the virtue of proximity, you understand, you have to group them together. Do you understand? So as a product designer, when you see two things that are together, it's because naturally you're not designing for yourself. So you cannot assume that the users should understand this. No, naturally, Gestalt principle states that users naturally group similar elements and perceive them as part of a whole. Do you understand? So let's look at Jacob's law. Jacob's law states that users spend most of their time on other websites. So they prefer that your solution, your site, your app to work like those they've already used or they already know. Do you understand? So you don't need to reinvent the basics. You don't need to reinvent the basics things. Do you understand? Just follow the patterns. If you are using a what's it called? a banking mobile application, you will see that all of them they're just the same. Do you understand? They group their major actions together, from send money to pay bills to whatever they want. You see that the group is so the difference most times is just the interface, the font, the colors, the typography. You understand? So user already understand that, okay, when I'm using a banking mobile applications, I will see what I will see. The first thing I will see my wallet, my major balance, my wallet balance, and I will see the send money. So you don't need to change those basics. Do you understand? So that's what Jacob's law is talking about. So let's look at what's it again? The Miller's laws. The Miller's laws that the average person can only hold about 7 ± 2 items in their working memory. That is, you must not overwhelm your users with too much information in one screen or one screen rather. Do you understand? So you have to break them down using sections, using steps of tabs. So you must understand that an average user can only hold about 7 - 2 means 5 plus 2 means 9 items in their working memory. So you need to understand that. And lastly, let's look at the aesthetic usability effect. These are other laws that you need to understand. So instead that user perceive attractive designs as more usable. So basically, you need to understand that user perceive attractive designs as more usable, even when it's not perfectly okay. Do you understand? They just say that, okay, this design is attractive, the aesthetic is beautiful. So that's why, as a product designer, you must make your interface clean, visually appealing, because a visually and clean interface builds trust and improves user interactions or user satisfaction rather. I must say, if you yourself see an application on Play Store or App Store, and you see that this thing is not beautiful, I'm sure you not even bother to download it. Even when it will solve the problem, you will not download it. So when a solution or your product is clean and visually appealing, user feels that they perceive it as what? As attractive. They perceive it as what? The product is already usable, even when it is not perfect. Do you understand? I'm sure we are all familiar with Apple products. Apple products have a simple aesthetic. Do you understand? But a simplicity is what? It catches users' attention. Do you understand? And it pays attention to details. So that's it for the laws of UX. I will drop a link in the chat box before the end of class. So to just remind me, so you can read more on the laws of UX. Do you understand? So to just remind me before we finish the class. So let's go to the basics of accessibilities, or accessibility rather. So accessibility is very important in product design. Very important. Very, very important. So accessibility ensures that your product can be used by everyone. In quotes, used by what? Everyone. You know, there's a general misconception that when we are talking about accessibility design, that is all about designing for disabilities or people with limitations. No, accessibility is all about designing for everyone, not designing for disabilities or people with limitations. It means designing for what? For everyone. So you must have that at the back of your mind. So designing for accessibility isn't optional. It's a core responsibility of every product designer. Do you understand? Because accessibility makes your product inclusive. It makes your product, it improves your experience. It improves experience for all users. Do you understand? It expands your audience. That is, well, especially if you want your product is a global product. And as a it's often legally required for what? For global products, as I mentioned earlier. So we have key principles of accessibility. Key principles of accessibility. That is, I've put it into a four acronym. That is perceivable, operable, and understandable, and what? Robust. That is POU. Perceivable, operable, understandable, and what? Robust. When we're talking about perceivable, it means that information must be visible or audible. When we are talking about accessibility, one of the principles of accessibility is what? It must be perceivable. That is, information must be visible or audible. That is, you provide text alternative for images. So you don't just assume that they must understand that this image stands for tree. No, you must put a text alternative tree there. You understand? It must what? Must be operable. That is, users should be able to interact easily without hassle. They must be able to what? To interact with your product easily. That is, your buttons should be accessible via keyboards or screen readers. Another one that it's what? It must be understandable. Your content and interface should be clear and predictable. You must avoid jargons. You use clear feedback messages in your what? In your product or your designs. And lastly, it must be robust. This has to do with the implementations. You understand? It must be robust. That is, it must be compatible with assistive technologies. You understand? So let me quickly talk about accessibility in visual designs. So when you are doing visual design, that is your user interface, you use sufficient color contrast. Understand this very well. Use sufficient color contrast. That is, you use a dark text on what? On a light background. You use what? A dark text on a light background. You don't use a light text on a light background, whereby you strain the eyes of your what? Of your users. You understand? Or you now understand that, or you now see that no, the user should be able to see this. No, you are designing for accessibility. So you have to put in consideration everyone, those that use glasses, those that have eye problems too, those with limitations. Do you understand? Another thing you need to understand, that you don't rely on color alone to convey meaning. So you don't that users should be able to understand that red stands for danger now. No, they should be able to understand that when they see the color red, it means danger. Do you understand? As much as you are using color to convey meaning, you must also use icon and use text too. Do you understand? You must put it there, danger, danger, or exit, or delete, or remove. Do you understand? Another one is you ensure the font size is comfortable. That is, you use the correct font size for your what? For your captions. Do you understand? And also you add alt text to images, like I've said earlier. So let me talk about accessibility in interaction design. That is where people are interacting with your products. So as a product designer, you ensure that interactive elements are large enough for users to click and tap easily. That is, I'm talking about interactive elements like your buttons and your links. They must be what? Large enough. Maybe in mobile applications, the sign up button must be large enough. They must be able to see it very well. You understand? So you ensure that interactive elements, they're large enough and they are clearly labeled. So you ensure that you support keyboard and navigations for users who can't use a mouse, and also add captions or transcripts for your videos. If you go on YouTube now, there are captions there. There are options for captions. So even when the sound is off, The caption is on, you can understand what the person is saying. You understand? So let's, I think let's, okay. Lastly, let's look at consistency and hierarchy. Consistency and hierarchy. Please, are we together? Okay, let's look at consistency and hierarchy. When we're talking about consistency and hierarchy are the backbone of good user experience. So you must understand consistency. I believe it's not a general rule in design alone. It's consistency is a general thing in life. You must be consistent. So consistency and hierarchy in product design are the backbone of a good user experience. They guide users' attention and what and reduces what confusions. When we are talking about consistency means using the same patterns, visuals, behaviors across your designs, across the product. Do you understand? Because a good interface feels familiar from the first click. When you log on to a GT bank mobile applications, you already know that this orange major button is this and this. So you have a sense of belonging, a sense of familiarity from what? From the beginning. Because when a button looks and works the same way throughout your both product, users stop thinking about the interface and focus on their tags. Because as a product designer, you want the users to just come on your product and perform their tasks and go. Do you understand? You don't want them to be start guessing or finding like, okay, I saw a green button there and I'm seeing a white button or something like that. Do you understand? So continuity math is very key in what in your product, in your design. Continuity becomes increasingly important as users have advanced in your what through your flow. So this means that you have to keep your styles, colors, layouts uniform throughout your designs. And this makes your UI predictable. You understand? Consistency builds familiarities. It makes navigation predictable, comfortable, and it strengthens your what? Your brand identity. When you see a access mobile applications, you already know that this is an access mobile applications, mobile banking application. Do you understand? So let's look at the visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy guides users on what to look at first. So visual hierarchy guides your it makes you guide your user on what they have to see first, on what to look at first. You understand? It's how designers direct attention using size, color, contrast, and placement. So you want the users to recognize what matters most. You want them to recognize key informations and distinguish it from what? From the less important ones. If you pick up a newspaper today, you will know what to read first. Do you understand? Am I correct? If you pick up this thing, you know what to read first. That is what? By the virtue of what? Hierarchy. Do you understand? So virtual hierarchy is very important. So the principles of virtual hierarchy, of a good hierarchy, that it's number one is size. Bigger element attract more attention. We all know that. Color and contrast. So you use bold and contrast colors to emphasize the importance of a particular element. Spacing also. White spaces separate sections and makes content breathable. You have to give your design breathing space, and that's the function of white spaces. Also, typography. You use font weight and styles to indicate importance. Do you understand? You need to differentiate headings and subheadings and body text. So we use typography to what? To do this magic. Alignment also. You keep your layout organized and easy to what? To use. So lastly, in conclusion, the UX loss guides you. It guides the users how to perceive and interact with your what, your designs. Accessibility ensures your design is visible by everyone, by everyone. While consistency builds trust and familiarity, and and hierarchy ensures what, clarity and focus. So when you apply everything together, they create intuitive, inclusive, and beautiful experiences for the users. So that's the end of the week two. So your questions can come in now. Let's have your questions. Let's have your questions. Let's have your questions.
Okay. The question I was about to ask is about the loss of UX actually, but you said you are going to send a link to us though. So my question is, how do we, like in the process of you designing at times and then you trying to understand patterns and then put everything together, how do you get to understand the laws, the laws to use?
All right. That's all right. Samson, is that all?
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. All right. So, um, while I was explaining the lots of you, I said that it's very important to know them. That's why you have to study them ahead. You understand? You have to have it in your head. You understand? Because it's very key. It's very key. You understand? Because if you don't know all these basics now, it will definitely affect your solutions or your design. You understand? Because you need to understand how the user think. You understand? You are not designing for yourself. To you now, you feel like, okay, I know that this button is this, I know that this is this. But you're designing for the user, so you have to understand all these laws. You understand? I've pasted the link on the chat box, and also you can just pick the link and put it on the Slack channel. I don't know if the class rep is uh, on this call, where anyone can just put it and just put it in the Slack channel for others to see. So that's just it. You just have to study it ahead and know all these laws. Do you understand? Just know the basis of all these laws. You might not necessarily know everything, but I've tried to put the basic ones, and I'm putting out the links just so for you to see other laws and just have a understanding, under broader understanding of all these things. Do you understand something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get you, sir. Thank you very much,
Okay,
sir.
all right, thank you. Any other question? Anyone else? All right, Oyin Consular, thank you so much for putting that out. Adeoti Joseph Fumilade, thank you so much for putting out there. So any other person with questions before we call it a wrap? Okay, I believe there are no other questions. And so let me quickly say this, uh, because you need to put in more effort in this field or in this journey, because I won't lie to you, the competition out there is crazy. Permitting to use that word, it's crazy out there. So you need to put in effort and put in your best. Do you understand? Ask questions when necessary and when necessary. Do you understand? Be curious and be ready to put in the work. Do you understand? So, and show up. Do you understand? So it's very important. So you don't make the organizers feel like it doesn't worth it. Do you understand? So I'm begging each and every one of you, this journey is a very great one and very worth it. So You just need to be intentional about it. It's very important. It's very important you're intentional in this journey. You understand? So, like we said that consistency is one rule in life that keeps us going in life. So you have to bring it to and into this journey. You understand? So if there are no further questions, um, see you next week and make sure you watch the videos for week 3 and because of the even into the practical aspect from next week. So please show up better and show up strong. Thank you so much and have a lovely night rest. Bye.
Thank you, sir.